No. Arizona's a shell of themselves. They've lost 3 in a row. They've lost 3 out of 5. They've gone 3-5 over the last 8 games, Skip. They were just blown out 2 weeks ago by the Detroit Lions by 18 points. There is no possible way you can make a statement game against a team that got blown out by the Detroit Lions. That's impossible to have happen, Skip. And so we've seen them without DeAndre Hopkins, 12 and 16 points over the last 2 games. And this is what we've seen, and I told you this, Skip. What concerned me about Kyler was his size. Every year since he's been in the league, they've waned down the stretch. They finished 2-7 over the last 9 games in 2019, 2-5 over the last 7 games in 2020. They've gone 3-5 over the last 8 games. And Kyler Murray is limping again, just like he did in the previous season. They've lost 4 or 5, Skip, in which Kyler's played. The one win, they beat the Bears. He threw for 123 yards. So, no, if you'd have got them in the beginning of the year, Skip, when they got up to this great start, they were 7-0, you beat them, you beat that team, okay, no question about it. You put the NFL on notice. But all they're doing now, if they beat the Arizona Cardinals, which I expect them to do, is continue a theme in which they've done. Done what, Skip? Beating bad teams. That's what they've done in this stretch in which you know it. Ain't no denying it. Because teams that got winning records, handed it to them.
Really?
Yeah. My Broncos gave them that work. The Raiders gave them that work. Oh, my homeboy gave that work. But y'all beat up on, we beat Atlanta. We got it going against Atlanta. You saw what we did last week against the Giants and the Washington football team. This is another bad football team. So, no, unfortunately, Micah, you said some great things. You played unbelievable this year. But if you beat this team, this is not a statement win. Had you playing Green Bay on your schedule, you beat them? Okay. You playing the Rams, they're on your schedule? Okay. The Bucs? Okay. Kansas City at this stage? Okay. You beating just another bad team. So this is not the win that Micah Parsons or the Cowboys think they would be getting. It is a win, no question about it. You want that. But you're not going to make the statement that you thought you would have made had you played the Cardinals earlier in the season.
So, help me out. The Cardinals' record as we speak is what?
10-5.
Oh, it's 10-5.
Yeah. What did they start the season at?
10-5, pretty good.
What did they start the season at? Tell the people what they started at.
Did Kyler Murray just make the Pro Bowl? Yeah, he just made the Pro Bowl. Wait, did Chandler Jones make the Pro Bowl? Did Buda Baker make the Pro Bowl? They did. They made the Pro Bowl. Believe it or not. Did James Conner, who's come out of nowhere, boy, Pittsburgh could have used him this year. Did he make the Pro Bowl this year?
Did they have any of those? Did they have any of those guys over the last 8?
Yes.
Did they have any of those guys over the last 8 games?
They have had those guys. Not Chandler Jones for all of them, but here's the point. Allow me to start off by saying not only Happy New Year to you, but I want to say Happy New Cowboys to me.
Oh, my goodness.
This is all new. This is all inspired by 11 from heaven. This is the guy you saw coming before I did. Micah Parsons, I even predicted as early as Hard Knocks, was about to change life for the Dallas Cowboys. He has changed the way we play defense. He has taken over the leadership of the whole football team at age 22, and a child shall lead them. Except this child, quote unquote, is going on 30 years of age in wisdom. He already handles himself like he's been playing for 6 or 7 years. He already speaks as the spokesman for the team, and he's now making statements that I believe the team is going to have to live up to. So, again, I completely agree with his wisdom in this statement, well beyond his years, when he said, this is obviously a high-profile team in our conference. You got to give it that. It is that because of Kyler Murray. A team we potentially could see in a couple of weeks in the playoffs. That could be, right? You've acknowledged that. And he said, I think we need to make a statement here. It's the type of game that can really define you going forward. So if we come out and do what we're supposed to do, because they're double-digit favored again, right?
How you make a statement against a double-digit?
Wait a second. If we do what we're supposed to do, we will put everyone on notice, as in the whole conference will be put on notice. Okay, 56-14 was over a guy that you sometimes call Tyler Heineke. He's Taylor or Tyler, one of those two. And that's kind of how he plays. He can be Taylor, he can be Tyler, right?
Right.
And thanks to Micah Parsons knocking his block off in the game at Washington, now it's 3 weeks ago, he became a shell of himself when he got to Jerry World, and they had their way with him, both offensively and defensively. 56-14 can be disqualified because you say, well, it's just Washington and they've fallen all apart, and it's just Tyler Heineke. But this is at least Kyler Murray, and this is a credible defense, which even now, it's still tied for 5th in points allowed in the league. Well, you got to give it that. I like this defense. I liked it all year long. I respect it, and I will be honest, I fear it a little bit. So if you make the same kind of statement you made against Tyler, against Kyler, now you've got something because you're starting to launch, where if you come out and you dominate the Cardinals, if you want to say what's left of the Cardinals, be my guest. But if you come out and blow them out, then it resounds from sea to shining sea that, these guys are legit, because what do you keep telling me? My division's garbage, right?
It is.
And you're beating up on a bunch of garbage teams in your division.
You did.
Okay? I don't think the Arizona Cardinals are a garbage team. I know they've fallen on hard times just because they lost DeAndre Hopkins, who was the ultimate security blanket, maybe the closest thing to Devontae Adams we have in the league as far as what he means to Kyler as to what Devontae means to Aaron Rodgers. Okay? So you take away that, and all of a sudden Kyler's got to try to refigure it out.
Right.
But the point is, we owe them. We owed Washington, and we paid them back dearly. We laid it all over them in payback. And if I could remind everybody that on October 19th of last season, on a Monday night, on Monday Night Football, sea to shining sea on national TV, Arizona won the game 38-10, and they didn't just win it. They stomped and they romped, and it was the most humiliating loss of the year to me, because it was Kyler Murray coming home to the Dallas area where he starred in high school football and never lost a game. So you can argue he's never lost a game in the state of Texas. And although he did lose to Texas one year. So we should mark that off. At Oklahoma, he lost to Texas at the Cotton Bowl, but whatever. But again, the point is, he grew up a Cowboy fan, and this happens regularly. They come home to roost on us. You know, they come back and they play.
No, that's not what he said. He says he's not a Cowboy fan. He said because he was growing up, there was some, you know what.
Okay, but they all love the Cowboys.
No,
they're obsessed with it. They're obsessed with the Cowboys.
He said he was not.
Okay, but the point is, he came back, and it wasn't just him. It was 261 rush yards.
Okay.
They literally ran my team off the field. Defensive coordinated by Mike Nolan. Dropped that mic also. We finally dropped that mic. But if we could see some of the splash plays that happened that night, you want to talk about all-time humiliation? Here's 80 yards to Christian Kirk. This is last year's defense. 80 yards to Christian Kirk. Then we got, next up, a 69-yarder by Kenyon Drake. Not there anymore, but there goes Kenyon Drake. And is anybody home over there? Do you see anybody left? Is anybody within 15 yards? Yeah. Okay. And here we go again. This is to, guess who? DeAndre Hopkins. And he takes it home from 60 yards away. Is anybody going to tackle him? Whoa. And then he didn't take it all the way home. But there's Kyler this is a 16-yard run for a touchdown. Okay. That was just I just gave you the lowlights for me. I just scratched the surface. It went on all night long. Kyler Murray had a QBR of 83, didn't throw for that many yards, but they were just running wild.
Right.
And everybody had huge plays, and it was the low point of the year for me. So, again, Mike McCarthy attempted, we saw via Hard Knocks, to try to get this team up for a preseason game to try to get even with the Arizona Cardinals. Right. Well, you can't do it because nobody cares, and you're going to play too many. Obviously, Dak
too many people get to play backups.
It's just silliness.
Right.
I don't know. And you just looked foolish to try to do that. Well, I hope he gives some kind of speech before this game, and I hope Dak gives a speech, and ultimately, I hope Micah Parsons gives a speech, because my team is on the verge of greatness. I'm here to tell you, they just won 4 in a row. They just won December, did they not?
Yeah.
They swept December. This is how you take off for the playoffs. What did the great Tom Landry used to preach to me and everybody else? You streak into the playoffs. You have to catch fire in December going into January. Well, right on schedule, you can disqualify all the opposition. They won those games, and they started to win them more and more convincingly until all of a sudden I'm looking at my team. This could be the best team in pro football right now.
Skip, I'm not arguing that you're not winning games. I take issue with this statement.
Okay.
How can you make a statement when you're a double-digit favorite against the dog? Alabama made one statement this year. Mm-hmm. What was that? Did they make a statement against any other team other than Georgia?
I'm glad you brought that up, and we're going to talk about that in a few minutes here because they struggled all year long, and it's almost like an aberration statement against Georgia. I can't even figure it out.
So that was the statement. That's when they put that, hold on. They went from third or fourth, all the way back to number one because Georgia was so dominant. Mm-hmm. Okay, you can't say this is a statement win when the team has lost 5 of their last 8 ball games. Mm-hmm. They've lost 4 of the 5 starts in which Kyler's played. And what is Kyler doing again? Right on cue, limping late into the season. He's limping again.
Okay, I'm just saying if you dominate this team the way you're capable of dominating.
Detroit dominated them.
Okay. All right, I got that, but that's an aberration game, right? Okay. Do you think they're that bad at 10-5?
Yes.
I don't.
Yeah, no, Skip. They started out 7-0. That's 7-0. Of their last 8 games, they've lost 5 of them.
Mm-hmm. Okay, so here's where my team is right here, right now. And all he's saying is he's basically agreeing with you. We should take care of business, but we should put the league on notice by doing to them what we did to Washington. Because, help me out, more credibility versus Arizona or versus Washington? It's Arizona.
But, Skip, if you win the game, it's like, wow, okay, they won the game. But it's not the statement game. You need to beat a Green Bay. Okay. You would need to beat a Tampa. You would need to beat one of these top teams that are playing really well.
What if you do a number on Arizona just the way you did a number on Washington? Maybe not 56-14, but somewhere in the ballpark of that.
So, in other words, do to Washington what everybody else has been doing to the Cardinals, which is beating them. Okay, sure.
Against Washington, Dak threw for 330 and 4 touchdowns. Mm-hmm. He ran the ball 4 times for 21 yards and looked as healthy running the ball as I've seen him. And in fact, Zeke talked about that yesterday, that he and Dak are both starting to get healthier where they can start to move the way they used to move.
Okay.
I agree, because Dak can beat you here and there with his legs. And obviously he had a career-threatening ankle surgery that he had to go through that took 2 surgeries. And then he had a calf pull, and then he had this and he had that. It just looked like he got healthy, and they got more mentally healthy in 56-14 than they had been before. So where do we sit right now? My defense is number 1 in the NFL in takeaways. Is that good?
Yes.
That's great.
And what have the Cardinals been doing a lot of lately?
Okay, good. Well, we need to take it away 4 more times, right?
Okay.
My team is now tied for 2nd in this league in turnover ratio differential. It's how you win playoff games in this league. Mm-hmm. 2nd only to the Green Bay Packers. My team is now number 1 in stopping opponents on 3rd down. Number 1.
Yes.
That's how you win playoff games.
Yes.
Am I right?
Yeah.
Now let's flip it around to the offensive side. My team is number 1 in the NFL in points scored. Is that good? Yeah. We're to January.
Well, Skip, you put 56 on a bad Washington team. You put 43 on a bad Atlanta team. Okay. But then you scored 9. Okay. And then you scored 16 in mop-up duty against the Broncos.
Yet and still, my team is number 1 in the whole league in yards gained for the whole year.
Yeah.
Number 1 in points and yards.
Yeah.
That's pretty great. We're up to January 1st, right? Pro Football Focus, your favorite website. It grades out all the offenses in the league. It grades Dallas's offense, whole body of work for all the games. What are we up to? 15 games. Mm-hmm. Through 15 games, they rank Dallas's offense number 1 in the NFL.
Yeah.
Huh.
How you number 1 and you got 4 losses?
That's interesting.
How you got, hold on, think about what you just said. Think about what you just said, Skip. You said we've graded the number 1 offense. We scored the most points. We scored the most yards. We take the ball away. We don't let you get 3rd down. But somehow you got 4 losses. How is that possible?
Because they're so good when they're good. And you know it.
What do you mean?
Okay. Aberration games. Like outliers. I told you, I can't explain Denver, and I can't explain the Raiders.
Yes, you can.
I can't.
Yeah.
They don't fit because they bounced right back and made you say, that looks like a real team.
When? Beating Atlanta. And I told you. I said, Skip, they're not that good.
Atlanta just won at New Orleans 27-25. We destroyed them. in ways. Atlanta came alive at the end of the year. They were starting to click.
Atlanta came nowhere.
Okay. Well, is Kyle Pitts any good?
Yeah. Skip, every team have a couple of good players.
Yep.
And what you try to do to try to accentuate how great your Cowboys are is that is Kyle Pitts, is Kyler any good? Is Chandler Jones any good? Yes. But how many Pro Bowlers did you have? Did you have any guys? Did Zach Martin make the Pro Bowl? He didn't he, right? Okay, did Ty Smith make the Pro Bowl?
Yep. And by the way, he will be back on Sunday.
Did Trayvon Diggs make the Pro Bowl?
Yep.
Did Micah Parsons make the Pro Bowl?
Yeah,
So in other words,
he might make defensive player of the year.
Okay. So don't try to do this like, well, they got some good players. Yes, everybody has good players. Even Jacksonville's got a handful of good players. So what you're trying to do is that you're trying to pump up Arizona. So if your team wins, well, that was the statement. They've been bad. They lost by double digits to the Lions. Lions.
You know and I know what could happen. It's a big Fox game, 4:25 Eastern.
Yeah, okay.
It's a big sort of national type TV game. It's not complete, but it's close.
Yeah.
Everybody watches the Dallas Cowboys. And even if it's just Arizona, and Arizona's lost 3 in a row and 4 out of 6, they're still 10-5, and they have a Pro Bowl quarterback, and they have stars on defense. Again,
And you and I both know he shouldn't have made the Pro Bowl over
that is
Matthew
false.
Stafford.
He did plenty to make the Pro Bowl.
How?
Yeah, Matt Stafford, are you kidding? Now, if we keep extending body of work, the last 3 games, Matt Stafford has been pathetic to me because he is who I said he was not. He's not that guy.
All I know is he's third in passing yards and he's second in touchdown passes. But he's terrible, and he has the team in position to be the number 1 seed.
What did you tell me he was last week at Minnesota?
He didn't play well. Oh, that's an aberration. That's an outlier. That's what we're doing, right? When somebody plays bad, the Cowboys play bad, it's an aberration. It's an outlier. They played bad against the Broncos, that's an aberration. Played bad against the Raiders, that's an aberration. They played bad against Kansas City, that's an outlier. So that's what I'm just doing what you do. Team loses, that's an aberration. That's an outlier game.
So it's very interesting because despite our aberration outlier games,
exactly.
despite Denver and despite the Raiders, took 5 years off my life on Thanksgiving evening, despite all that, we are still in position to wind up with the number 1 seed in the NFC. But I need Kirk Cousins to do something that he's done quite a bit of, which is play very well against Green Bay.
He does.
Right?
He has.
Within
Yes,
the
absolutely.
division.
Yeah.
He actually beat Green Bay earlier at Minnesota. They won 34-31, and he was pretty good in that game.
No, he was great in that game.
He threw for 341 and 3 touchdowns with 0 picks.
Yeah.
0 picks. Had a QBR of 77, scale 0 to 100. That's pretty great.
I mean, Rodgers threw for 385 and 4 touchdowns.
Okay.
But it just go. And we're going to talk about this game, Skip. Green Bay struggled stopping the run, and Dalvin Cook made the Pro Bowl as a running back.
And he's healthy, they say.
And they got Justin Jefferson.
Yep.
Made the Pro Bowl as a starter, and he's
Jefferson
healthy.
in that game at Minnesota against Green Bay caught 8 balls for 169 yards and 2 tubs.
Yeah.
Okay.
And you think somehow CD is better than him, but okay, go ahead.
Okay. Well, this Sunday, I give it up to Justin Jefferson.
No, dude.
This Sunday, I give it up to Kirk Cousins. I need you, Kirk. Go, Kirk, go. We don't need any Kurt Cousins. We need Kirk Cousins. Dallas has owned you, but you're starting to own Green Bay. And even though you're a 7-point dog at Lambeau, is it possible?
Yes,
sure,
absolutely.
It's possible.
It's a division rival.
Okay.
You know them, they know you.
Okay, they don't have Thielen, which is unfortunate.
Right.
He's gone for I guess he's gone for the year.
Well, they put him on ours, so that's a minimum 3 games.
Okay, so that's it for him. And that could hurt. That could be a big loss because you don't have the 1-2 punch.
Correct.
But you do have Dalvin back in the saddle and going strong. So if that happened, then believe it or not, Dallas on conference record would have the edge over the Rams and over the Tampa Bay Buccaneers.
Yeah.
Well, for the 1 seed. And you would be horrified by that on Monday morning.
No, actually, I wouldn't be horrified because the mystique of being at home for the Cowboys is not like a Lambeau Field. It's not like an Arrowhead. You know that because you've seen teams go in there in the playoffs and beat the brakes off them.
Yep.
The Giants have gone in there and beat the brakes off them. The Packers have gone in there and beat the brakes off them. So they don't have the mystique of having what they quote unquote a home field advantage. So, like I said, Skip, I'm not trying to take anything away from them. Yes, they've won these games. The only disagreement that I have is that Micah saying this is a statement game against a team that they're double-digit favorites over.
Well, he's talking about a statement as in take care of business on a grand scale on national TV.
No, he said if we win this game, we're going to put the league on notice.
Yep.
And I'm saying you can't put the league on notice when you beat a team that you're favored by 2 scores. Then no, that's not. How is that possible?
Eye test. That's how it's possible.
How?
If you watch it and you sit back and you got stars in your eyes watching the Dallas Cowboys and you say, that team is for real.
Bama put the world on notice with just Georgia.
Okay.
That's how you put a team when you're the underdog. If Dallas was the underdog, Skip, and they went out there and beat them 30-14, I was like, Skip, you know what? Hey, they just sent a resounding message.
Shannon, I hate to tell you this, but it's not going to be a happy new year for you. You are in huge trouble. You're going to have to come and sit in that very
I
chair.
picked the Cowboys.
That's like the electric chair over there that you sit in.
I picked the Cowboys. You've seen the Cardinals over the last
You didn't pick the
2
Cowboys
months.
to go anywhere in the playoffs. You've been saying one and done all year.
You picked Tampa.
Huh? I
You
picked
picked
before
Tampa.
the year started. I picked
Okay,
Tampa
then.
to win it all.
Okay, then.
Okay. So,
you change it?
by the way, you picked Tampa.
Okay. I about to change my mind, though. I reserve the right to change
Well,
my
you
mind.
change it every day, so why not today?
I just might.
Thank you for watching. You can subscribe here to get the latest from the show, and be sure to check out more of the best clips from Undisputed, or go watch a few other segments from our other shows on FS1.